So amongst other things, he has a passion, a deep passion for silk screening posters. If you ever seen this guy's work, it's just amazing. So a big hand for my friend, Matt Harlan. Yeah.
Okay, a little shout out to Jimmy Lou. You're awesome. So Aligning 4000 for Cancer. This is an organization that I joined in 2009. And Aligning 4000 is a non-for-profit that sends a group of bikers across the country every summer to raise funds and awareness for cancer research. So I participated in the third year of this trip. And we did a trip from New York City to Portland, Oregon. And it took 66 days, and we traveled just over 4,000 miles. And another component of this trip is that we collect the stories from cancer survivors as we go, and they're collected into a database for people in the future. So this is a poster I made for the trip. I was trying to come up with a way to get college students engaged in this cause, because I feel like you can ask people for money, your aunt, or your grandparents, but how do you get college students to do it? So I made this poster because college kids love posters. And I actually, sold quite a few of them, and all the proceeds went to the cause. So this is the T-shirt design from the year that I rode. And really, what I want to say about this is that I really had no idea what this trip was going to be like. It's funny, as a designer, you generally know everything you can about this thing before you make it. But I really had no idea. So this is me in New Jersey. The ride has begun. I look pretty optimistic. And I want to point out how riding a bike is different than driving a car. That may sound simple, but you're so much closer to the environment. I mean, everything affects you: wind, rain. You get really sweaty. So I didn't bring a camera with me, so all the photos you see, friends have allowed me to use. But this is my sketchbook. This is from the first few days of the trip. And a lot of my drawings ended up looking sort of like the guy in the top right, just belabored bicycle rider. So I guess how I want to talk about this, because it's hard. People kept asking me when I got back from the trip, like, oh, how was it? And I don't know what to say other than it was good. So I'm going to break this down in terms of a single day, and this is the most pivotal day for me on this trip, and it was climbing the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming. So we woke up every day at about 6 o'clock, and we tried to get onto the road by 7 o'clock. And we carried all of our personal belongings with us in this van. So the van sort of became like our home. It carried our daily rations of cereal, Cliff Bars, and peanut butter and jellies. And I was surprised to find out how cold it can actually be in the middle of the summer. This is us literally wearing every single article of clothes we brought with us, because we were so limited. So, but it heats up pretty quick. So by midday, we're stripping off every article of clothing we have. Not everything. So this is the view from the top of the Bighorn Mountains. We made it. We all did it. So, it was something that I didn't think was possible. It was this intangible challenge. And even the first day of the trip, I wasn't sure if I could ride the 60 miles and if I could get back on my bike and ride the next 60 miles. So this is up at 10,000 feet on top of the Bighorns, and we saw the snow. And riding your bike, a great thing about riding your bike is you can just jump off and engage the environment. We saw this snow, and we're like, we're going to play in this snow. So we threw snowballs at each other and went sliding on our butts. So this sign has become somewhat of a landmarker for the trip, because after 18 miles of climbing this huge hill, there's always the 18 miles of downhill, and what else can you do other than chest bump? So, and those 18 miles went by so fast. So we got to the bottom of the hill. We went to the next community center in our church where we were staying, and woke up the next morning to do it again. So I want to say that it's really, you get to see this amazing side of people. people see you doing this trip, and they really open up, and you share stories, because everyone's life has been affected by cancer in some way. So it's something that unifies everyone. These are some postcards that I sent back to my family. They're little mementos. I took cards from South Dakota and scribbled on top of them to make them a little more personal. And by the time we reached Portland, I really couldn't believe it, because like I said, it's really a day-by-day process. You can't just sum it up in one big, we crossed the country. So I continued designing for Illini 4000. And what I took away the most, I think, is that designers we can do this. We can break down boundaries. Really, anyone can. And it's not just making a cool poster. In the end, good design is really about people. So this is the shirt design from last year's trip. And this is a bike sort of making waves to the United States. And I think about what one of the first hosts we had in New Jersey, what he said to us. He said that you should never lose your idealism, because it's so easy as an adult to get caught up in the mundane reality of everyday life, and you lose that movement. So this is the design for this year's trip, their T-shirt, and they're in Florence, Oregon right now, a little more than a week away from their final destination of San Francisco. And really, we have to hold on to this idealism, because it's really something it connects us, So this is from the most recent exhibition of the Illini, or the Portrait Projects exhibition. So I'm going to keep moving. So I want to say, designing, you can think of yourself as a maker, a designer of things. You should think of yourself as riding a bike and not in a car, because the car is this buffer. So the same thing applies. You should be out in the world experiencing things, not behind your computer screen in an air-conditioned office. And as we say in Illini 4000, the tan lines may fade, but our memories never will. So thank you. Go to Illini4000.org. Also, thanks to Tim O'Connor and Eric Volkman for their photos, and Weiskamp Screen Printing.